It is time for more scary tales. Oh. Welcome back to another episode of Shanclen Shadowproductions. Now, before we get started, if you're enjoying the content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to get some more awesome, amazing videos such as this. Oh. So today we're going to be jumping into some more viewer-submitted stories, and I do have to say, these ones are very, very creepy indeed. Now, without further ado, let us hop into these stories. Oh. I started watching your channel about 10 months ago, and I really enjoy it. You call out the nonsense and don't play scared like a lot of creators. Love the kick it to the face energy. Boot to the face. Hashtag boot to the face. Got a new merch line here. Anyways, I have a story I'd like to share. Feel free to read it on your channel. Oh. Now, I'm mixed heritage, bits of several indigenous tribes, Samoan links, Polish, and other European background. I didn't grow up around anything weird. Nothing in my life prepared me for what started in 2010. What I can only call a 3-year haunt. I hope it was my last. I can only assume the events were linked. It began when I spent 3 weeks with my friend and his family in Winslow, Arizona. We were young adults, 17 and 20, exploring, watching movies, being kids. The neighborhood wasn't great, but it was fun. His family was fully native, and his mother laid down a lot of rules that I thought were silly at the time. Don't let strays in the house. Don't be at certain places at certain times. Don't talk about certain things. She told stories about what she encountered. I listened out of respect and curiosity, but I didn't believe it. My friend told me not to joke, and that was that. On my last night there, the sister wanted to go to the wash about 30 minutes away. 4 of us. My friend, his sister, her boyfriend, and me piled into an old car and left near dusk to escape the heat. The sun dipped low. We were joking in the back about catching fish with our hands when the car suddenly went quiet. Everyone hushed me. The sister slowed the wheel, asked what was wrong. She pointed. Sitting at the driver's side of the road was what looked like to be a dirty husky, black and white fur matted with dust. Not starving, but not well kept. It sat stone still, face turned toward us. My friend leaned forward and quietly reminded me, "Remember what my mom said about coyotes crossing your path?" I rolled my eyes and told him it was a dog, to just drive. We inched forward and the husky watched us as if locked on. It stood deliberately, crossed the path, and sat on the passenger side, apparently waiting to be picked up. The car fell into whispers of hell no, and the plan to explore faded. I pushed, told the sister to speed up, said it was my last night here, and begged them to go, but she relented. As we passed, the dog suddenly rose to its hind legs as if it were to leap at the car. And then, a human hand reached from the body toward the door. Time slowed. The thing looked at me with a hunger I'd never seen, like a black and white film come to life. The only color in that awful instant were its eyes. Bright, vivid yellow. The sister spun the wheel. We fishtailed on the sand, but managed to turn the car and race back. Once safe, we sat trembling and told ourselves not to tell his mother. That would mean being locked inside, and none of us wanted that. We slept in sleeping bags in the living room floor that night. Every dog in town howled nonstop for hours. Not a brief chorus, but endless, keening sound. In the morning, his mother offhandedly said that the dogs had felt something there that didn't belong. About a month later, I was staying with a different boyfriend and his family while saving money. His mom didn't speak English well, and I was still learning. The boyfriend liked heavy metal stuff, posters, and creepy masks. One mask, a bloody clown face, hung on his bedpost facing the door. I went to the bathroom, came back, and it was staring at me. He worked nights and I couldn't have moved it, no one else was at home. I shoved it behind the dresser. 2 nights later, around 11, his mother pounded on the door and told my boyfriend she heard loud voices in the backyard. We went outside with her and then came back and said she thought they were friends. Neither of us had friends there. A few minutes later after they left, 3 loud bangs, bang, 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 hit my window. I yelled, "Very funny," and my boyfriend walked in asking who I was talking to. Nobody had done it. A week after that, we drove to California at night to avoid the heat. On I-8 near Gila Bend, going about 70 miles per hour, something heavy fell into the truck bed. He hadn't hit a bump. It felt like something jumped into the bed. I looked back and I saw nothing. Then, a series of palms slapped the back window, the sound traveling through the truck as if the hands walked around tapping on the glass while we were still speeding. A final slap hit the passenger side and then it stopped. On the drive home about 11 p.m., half asleep, I saw a huge, pale dog keeping pace with the truck. Sized like a Great Dane, but built like a greyhound. It dropped behind us and then caught up, and then passed us at 85 miles an hour, then darted into the road and stopped to stare. I screamed and my boyfriend slammed the brakes. I watched it dissolve, as if it exploded into a puff of mist, like one of those big puff mushrooms that disperse at a touch. He didn't see it. After that, things quieted for a while. I broke up with that boyfriend and moved a lot for about 2 years. Maybe that kept whatever it was from finding me, or maybe it simply couldn't find me while I kept moving. Eventually, I settled into a relationship and with my daughter rented a house in the city. We traded cleaning work instead of a down payment. Inside every window and doorway had odd marks. At the time I joked and they said that they looked like a Pokemon thing. The neighbors said that the family before us had a lot of kids, so maybe they had left it all. The room that would be my daughter's had a tiny shoe print on the walls and ceiling, as if a 3-year-old walked up on the walls, then to the ceiling. In the laundry room, on a post between the washer and dryer, someone had drawn a crude red crayon picture. A triangle head, triangle body, stick legs, and a tail. It could have been a kid's cat. I wanted to believe common sense. We scrubbed the drawings and the shoe prints off the walls and moved on. I worked nights, sleeping during the day, often alone in the room at bedtime. Not long after we moved in, my boyfriend started telling me odd things. Hangers sliding along the closet rack when nothing could be moving them. The ceiling fan spinning by itself, and I shrugged them off as pranks or nerves. I was getting interested in the supernatural then, and didn't want to feed it. Our neighbor told us that the family before us were Navajo. That unsettled me because of the marks, but I clung to denial. I remembered my friend's mother's warning, "Don't let it know, you know." That's what I planned to do, ignore it and it would leave me alone. But one night, after about 15 minutes in bed, the house quiet and the curtains drawn, everything off, my back to a closed door, I felt and heard something inhale and blow on my face. The exact same feeling of someone blowing into an old Super Nintendo cartridge. Every hair rose on my body and I felt my eyes shut and told myself, "Go to sleep, keep your eyes shut." The thing didn't stop. I lay there until I heard my boyfriend come home. Then I bolted out of the room and I told him. He laughed. After that, nothing happened for me. Nothing I could remember. But as soon as my friend from Winslow and his mother both died, the family never told me exactly what happened, and nobody speaks to me anymore. I'm left with the feeling that something was following me, and when I refused to give in, it went back to my friend and his mom and took them. It's a door in my life I probably will never close because they won't talk to me anymore. Anyways, that was my 3 years experience of the strangeness. I have an idea maybe what followed me, but also I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. The place you're referring to is near Bushman Acres, toward the Little Colorado River. It's kind of like a little foresty area, and we're going to be going to go do an investigation there very soon. And yes, there's a lot of spiritual activity when it comes to that area. When it comes to water, when it comes to rivers, and tragic happenings, it's a very good travel site for things that don't want to be seen because it's kind of in a little bit of a canyonish area, lots of trees, lots of cover. And yeah, I've had my few experiences out there as well. It's a good training ground for good. but also evil has a tendency to go out there too as well. Now, when it comes to this thing, could have been a Yanagloshi, could have been a Skinwalker that you ran into, but you guys got away. You guys saw it. And with Winslow being kind of a border town, but still technically near the reservation, it's like not even that far away. It's just like a couple miles up the road. Not too far away. And especially the more north you go from Winslow directly, it gets more into those areas to where there's a lot of trees that are kind of creepy looking. There's a lot of mutties, and this, like I said, it's a really big travel area. Now, when it comes to seeing these things and you being with people who by chance may have had the message being done on them, maybe they were being hunted or not, you inadvertently could have gotten cursed, possibly from these things. And in a sense, when that thing touches the car, when that memory or whatever it was somehow attached to you itself and made you a target, and to anything else that could see that mark as well. So this thing, kind of depending on who you were with or where you were at, you know, it just kind of really depends on the location, the timing, and who you're with. But thankfully that this thing did end up leaving you, and my condolences to those people that did pass away too, whether it was because of that Anagloshi and that darkness, that evil, that curse, and then that thing just kind of like, hey, this person really isn't worth all the hassle to go to a city to be able to inflict all this damage upon. Because like I said multiple times, people ask me, they're like, can Yanagloshis and Skinwalkers go to the city? Yes, but if you weren't never the main target for their witching, and then you were just kind of there living your whole life, your own life, away from everything that was there, then it kind of just depends, because when they go into the city, they become weaker when they leave the Four Sacred Mountains, and then they in turn could be possibly walking into enemy territory. But to hear and have that thing when you're going to California jump in the back of your car and then catch up to the ride, yeah, I've heard stories about that too. And if it's a pretty big target, then yeah, they'll go a little bit outside of the res like that. Or they can hire a different being and deity to be able to do that too as well. Now, I'm 100% glad that this thing isn't bothering you anymore. And maybe you sharing this story and kind of letting it out like this to an audience and me who believe and have experienced something like this, especially in Winslow too. It's always kind of like a validating feeling that you're not crazy. And yes, Winslow does have some wild shit here. Yes. But thank you so much for submitting this story, and it was definitely really good, and glad you're okay. So that's one of those situations where boot to the face would definitely be an answer. But probably better, sword to the ingrown toe. That's probably even better. They won't fuck with you then. Anyways, on to the next story. Hello, I just wanted to say I really enjoy your videos, and I hope my story might be of interest. Apologies if it's a little all over the place. It's still raw. For context, this happened in South England in the middle of nowhere. England. A little over 3 years ago, my father passed away. My condolences. Suddenly and unexpectedly in our home, he collapsed at the very top of the staircase just outside my parents' bedroom. All three of us were there to see it happen. Almost immediately after, strange things began to happen. So many, in fact, that even my skeptical mom admitted something unnatural was going on. Neither of us spoke about what we experienced until much later, but our accounts matched in disturbing ways. That very first night, only hours after his passing, I had a dream, but it wasn't a normal dream. I rarely dream. And when I do, they're fragmented nonsense. This one was different. It was clear, solid, and real. In my dream, I woke up to find my dad was walking into my room, exactly as he had been the day before, right down to his silly sandal print socks. He felt real, solid, and him. I teared up and said, "Dad, I thought you were dead. Was last night just a dream?" He only shook his head and sat at the end of my bed and sat down a bag from his favorite supermarket. Inside were things for all of us. My mom's favorite films, jumbo dog treats for our 2 dogs, and an aviation book for my brother. He handed them to me, patted my arm, and said, "Look after everyone. Don't worry, you'll be fine." Then he walked out and closed the door behind him. I woke up with a face wet from tears, realizing it had all been a dream. Later, my mom told me she felt him that night too, a kiss on her cheek, the sound of his water bottle cap closing, footsteps leaving the room. We haven't spoken of it much to each other until everything was over, but our experiences lined up too closely to ignore. That convinced me that he had said goodbye, and whatever came after us was not him. The next few nights grew darker. Barely 2 nights later, I woke up with a sensation of a breath on my ear and neck. Hot, damp, and human. I thought one of the dogs was nosing at me, so I pulled up the covers, and then something poked me hard in the middle of my back. A finger, too thin to be my dog's nose. I froze. The poking kept going, deliberate and insistent. Then the mattress dipped as something climbed on top of me. I could feel its weight pressing around me. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I lay there playing dead, praying it wouldn't notice that I was awake. After long minutes, the weight finally lifted. Silence. No sound of footsteps leaving, no dog claws on the floor. Just nothing. When I finally dared to look at the clock, it was 2 a.m. and my door was firmly shut. At the same moment, my mom, wide awake in her room, heard footsteps in the hall. A shadow entered her room, a tall black figure, so dark it looked like the absence of light. Faceless, empty. It looked at her, paced her room, and then walked back out and melted into darkness on the landing. Could it have been sleep paralysis? Maybe, but I wasn't paralyzed. I could move, and my mom saw it at the same time. That's what scared me. A few days later, while cleaning at the top of my stairs, I looked out over the fields behind our house and saw it again, but bigger. A huge, shifting black mass seething in the middle of the daylight field. It pulsed like something alive. I squinted, thinking it was a tarp or a plastic sheet caught in the wind, but then before my eyes, it simply faded. Not blown away, not collapsing, just gone. Other things kept happening. Footsteps on the stairs with a distinct click of knees bending. When no one was there. Voices, screams, while I was in the bathtub, and the entire tub shook violently, as if there was an earthquake. My mom had horrific dreams of her bedroom swarming with maggots. Not long after, our kitchen floor was crawling with them. A nightmare made flesh. The house was filled with noises it had never made before. Thuds, knocks, footsteps, and always around the staircase. Always at the center of the house. Even the dogs noticed. They would suddenly bolt upright, staring into the empty corners, growling at nothing. Both of them, over and over again. We were breaking. The grief, the activity, it was all too much. So one day I walked into the oldest, most sacred place in our village, a 1600s graveyard. I sat on a half-buried bench, tucked coins into the grass at its base, and prayed. I had never prayed before in my life. I didn't even know who I was praying to, but I begged for help. Not for me, but for my brother and my mom, who were falling apart. As soon as I finished, sunlight burst through the trees and washed over me. My palms tingled where they rested, unturned in prayer. Warmth filled me, and for the first time my dad died, I felt answered. That evening, everything changed. I was watching TV with my mom, and I got up to go upstairs and froze. At the top of the staircase stood a pair of legs, only legs, dressed in neatly pressed trousers and polished Oxford shoes, glowing with a golden light. I blinked and they were gone. And after that, nothing ever happened on those stairs again. Yay! And for those of you who don't know, yee means scary. Like, it's kind of like an expression. You see something scary in Navajo, you say yee. I've been saying that a lot for my videos, so now you know. Anyways, let's hop into this explanation of this story. First off, my condolences for losing your father. It's very, very tough whenever you kind of deal with loss, and especially when it's inside of the home like that still. Now, when you had that dream of your father coming to see you before he makes his journey into the spiritual world like that, that is pretty common. They do often kind of come by and see you and just kind of say their last goodbyes. You know, it's very awesome and loving that, you know, he got some items for you and your family to be able to make sure that you guys, even though when you woke up they weren't there, they were probably there spiritually. And just the symbolism behind his character of who he was really does stand out. And when it comes to a death inside of anywhere, I mentioned this on my death spirits video, a death spirit will come. Now, who that death spirit is varies on your location, your faith, and where you come from. Now, especially when it's a place of recent death like this, it attracts spirits nonetheless. Could it be death spirits? Yes. Could it be other spirits outside of that? Yes. And when they pick up a scent of death energy, it draws things in. So that's why you kind of have to, you either, for us, whenever somebody passes in a home and you have to stay there, you got to do a ceremony to be able to board up, pretty much spiritually board up the home, to be able to make sure that it's safe for the family and loved ones, to make sure nothing gets inside the home. Now, the dark spirit that you saw was probably one of those spirits. I'm pretty sure there was more than just one. And that's why I love dogs, is because there are guardian spirits and protectors, because they can see inside of the spiritual world itself too as well. Now, gotta thank your puppies, because they're very, very good at seeing these things and trying to protect the home and everybody else inside of there. And if I were having somebody poke my back like that or jump on top of me, they're getting a boot to the face. Hashtag boot to the face, everybody. But yes, that would certify a boot to the face, because why the F are you in my bed right now when I'm trying to sleep? Anyways, yes. But when you went to a location and for the first time that you actually prayed and, you know, you're just asking for help in the spiritual world, that's good. You know, something, you know, you don't understand or have experience with in the supernatural world, it's always good to have that prayer. No matter who you're kind of praying to, if it's with good intent and goodwill, there's going to be somebody there to listen and try to help you out. And it seems like it did. You know, probably after your father completed his journey and, you know, maybe one of the family angels or guardians came down and noticed and saw these spirits coming into your home like that. They're like, okay, you know, they pretty much put up the spiritual barriers, whether they forgot to do that or, you know, that was a duty for the father to do after he completed his journey and he came back. Or there's a lot of different reasons why, you know, something like that could happen. But when you saw that glowing light and those legs right there, especially where he passed away, it's letting you know everything's gonna be all right. You know, it tells you that, you know, kind of reaffirming and reassuring you that, you know, he's okay, he's all right, you know, and he's looking after you guys, and all you have to do to be able to talk with them is pray. You know, and there's a lot of concepts of what prayer actually is, and there's a lot of people out there who do not understand what prayer fully is. And do you have to go to a specific building on a certain day to do that? No, you can pray whenever you want to, and as long as you have the right heart, the right mindset to do it, then, you know, it really does go a long way, as you have seen yourself. So thank you so much for submitting this video, or thank you so much for submitting this story. That was a really good one. And I think that's the first one that was in England. So maybe one day I'll go to England and I can go see those stairs. It'll be really cool and interesting. But again, thank you so much for submitting this story. My condolences to you, and I'm glad everything's going good. But the teaching behind that is, you know, everything's going to be all right. You know, just have a prayer with you, and there's always going to be someone there looking out after you. Oh. So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for these submitted stories today. These two were a little bit longer, but they were really good and action-packed for sure. So I hope you all enjoyed. Everybody thank the people who submitted these stories today. Like I said, it's a lot of courage out there to be able to submit your stories like this too. And for everybody who has already submitted a story to shanclenshadowproductions@gmail.com, if you'd like to, you can send it there too. I've gotten a lot of stories, and that's freaking awesome and amazing. But there's a little bit of a wait list now. So don't let that discourage you from sending your story. I will get to it. My apologies for it kind of taking a little bit longer, but there's a lot of stories out there, and there's a lot of teachings that go behind it too. So thank you all so much for enjoying these stories. Thank you to those people who submitted this story, and many blessings to you all. I know we've grown over 125,000 subscribers, and if you're in the future and we have more, The time and date of this filming, we have over 125,000 subscribers. So if you're new here, welcome, and hope you're enjoying the content. And if you are, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to get more content here at Shanclen Shadow Productions. Turn on your notifications, everybody. If you guys would like to become a member of Shanclen Shadow Productions, you guys get early access as well as other perks as well. So if you guys have a story you'd like to submit, send it over to shanclenshadowproductions@gmail.com. It'll be in this video description as well as in my link tree in the channel bio, as well as my other social medias. The list is now. Instagram is Clen_warrior_SSP, Clen Warrior SSP on Instagram, as well as my second channel is Clen_Shadow Lodge_SSP for my second channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed to that, go to Shanclen Shadow Lodge on YouTube, where I have a lot of fun and my production work on there, my vlogs and all my stuff non-paranormal on there as well. So if you guys get creeped out by these stories and you need a good laugh, I just posted a video about me at a carnival with my siblings, so go enjoy that. As well as if you guys have any creepy videos you guys would like to send me, go ahead and send it on over to my Instagram or my TikTok at ShanclenSP. Now, the second channel, I just have to let you know that we are now accepting members on that channel. So there's going to be a lot of fun behind the scenes and exclusive videos on there too as well. And on this channel too, if you're watching this now, on Saturday, we're going to be talking about the gauntlets again. And if you guys haven't seen that video, go check out that video, because you are going to have to need to see that Gauntlet of Fear video to be able to see this coming Saturday's video too as well. So stay tuned for that, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying. That's a long outro. I got a lot of stuff going on, but it's very exciting. Yes. Hope you all have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Good night. It's currently 11:45 p.m. and I gotta edit 2 videos because I'm going on a trip. So I gotta make sure you guys get content on time. So I'm tired, so I'm gonna ramble a lot. Go subscribe to my second channel, Shanclen Shadow Lodge, everybody. I'm sore from the carnival still. If you know, you know. Give me one moment. Queso is playing in the background. Spooky time! Shout out Queso. You rock, man. Hope to meet you one day. Peace.